Sorry.
Can I ask you to step forward? And keep stepping forward. I'm really sorry, it's like weird. Just everyone's so far. No, keep coming, keep coming. Thanks very much. Am I doing this right, Pete? Am I doing that right? Okay, right, so thanks very much. My name is Suzanne Jeffrey and I'm Chair of Campaign Against Climate Change. And first I want to say a really big thank you to everybody in Hackney who's put this together today and taken up the call that we did put out. There are actions taking place up and down the country, so on high streets, activists have taken to the high street to make sure that that message, well, 1 year on from the Paris Agreement, what is happening, where is the urgent action that we need to tackle climate change, with our theme, which I think we've kind of, I think it hits the bill, that Santa's sad, and what we're going to do to make Santa happy again is home is melting. Ours is about to head the same way, so we need to take the kind of action, urgent action to tackle climate change. I'm not doing this right, Pete, am I?
Pointed it right at your mouth. Pointed.
Is that it? You got it, right, okay. I think Richard has said a number of the things that I've got written down here, but it's never stopped me repeating things that people have already said, so I'm going to do that. We're 1 year on from Paris. So Paris wasn't a brilliant deal. It was a deal, it was an agreement, and that was probably the best thing about Paris. There was an acknowledgement that there is a problem and we need action to tackle it, and there was an acknowledgement, not a plan, but an acknowledgement that it needs to be urgent action. There was an acknowledgement that to stay safe in any meaningful way, we need to stay below 1.5 degrees of warming. In reality, the agreements that government signed up to hold us a million miles short of achieving what was outlined that we need to do. So instead of staying below 1.5, what people signed up to do was to take us on a trajectory towards 3 or 4 degrees warming, and that is a climate that we just wouldn't recognise. It's a climate that actually we wouldn't survive in. So Paris wasn't brilliant, but at least there was that acknowledgement there. And since then, of course, we've seen, as Richard said, elected to the White House, I should say, Trump. Yes, a climate denier, but more, in a sense, more importantly, is somebody who is utterly committed and wedded to supporting the fossil fuel industry. You know, has invested in it, his friends are in it, and really that's what all this is about. So it's about the kind of populism in where he's presented himself as someone who's going to solve people's problems, and it's the same kind of populism around the question of climate change. Yeah, that somehow climate change is something that's been made up by liberal lefties who want to unravel the economy, who want to support China versus America, or whatever other nonsense it is that Trump is pumping out. The second thing I would say is we also have a government here in the UK that is attempting to unravel any kind of commitments to climate change. So Theresa May's government, instead of taking the kind of action that their government signed up to last year at Paris, is pursuing exactly the same kind of policies that will not bring about the kind of action needed to reduce emissions. So we've got policies from Theresa May's government since she has been in charge, where the continued attack on renewable energy goes on, where their friends, their rich business friends in fracking are being supported, where they're playing to a UKIP agenda around the whole question of energy, and of course they've given a massive fill up to Heathrow, to airport expansion. And really all of this agenda is in terms of domestic policies, social policies, where actually it's their rich friends that are being supported, and the welfare interests of the planet and the people who live on it are being pushed aside in order to pursue that kind of agenda. In reality, when it comes to airport expansion, for example, this is not about helping ordinary people to go on holiday and get the kind of rest and recuperation that they need. The people that use Heathrow Airport and are looking forward to that airport expansion are the very richest. We still have globally about only 3% of the population are able to travel by air transport. In reality, the best thing May could have done to help ordinary people have the holidays that they deserve is extend our holidays, invest in a public transport system that allows us to travel around with sustainable transport. It's not in their agenda at all. It is about defending the interests of the rich over the interests of ordinary people and wrecking the planet in the climate. There's a narrative all the time, jobs versus the environment. We're doing this for jobs. We can't possibly protect the environment if we're going to look after jobs. And it's a narrative that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. In reality, the industries that they are investing in, the fossil fuel, don't deliver a lot of jobs for the local communities that desperately need them. But if they were interested in creating jobs, they'd create climate jobs. Climate jobs that can be locally based, that can engage large sections of the community in the kind of jobs that we need in order to reduce emissions, in insulating our homes, in tackling fuel poverty, in reducing energy use, in creating public transport systems that don't force people to rely on cars and make long journeys in cars or get them stuck in their homes even worse. So 1 million climate jobs really should be one of our key demands on this government and perhaps possibly more importantly on the governments that could deliver and would deliver on those kind of things. So Santa's sad. The Arctic is melting, and those in power are refusing to take the action necessary, and they're interested in prioritising profits over people and the planet. So what would make Santa happy? Well, Santa had a very good cheer last night. I don't know if you know about the case of Tina Louise Rothery. Yeah, great, okay. So it was Tina and the movement versus Cordrilla, the massive multinational fracking company, and Tina and the movement won. And that is a huge, massive, important victory. I'd like to send our best wishes here today to Tina, to all the supporters that she's got globally across the country. And that's the kind of thing that makes Santa very happy, that he shows that we can take the action that can deliver and take on the big multinational corporations. People heard of the case of Standing Rock in America, where you've got an attempt to plough a massive oil pipeline through indigenous American people's land, and you will have seen, or not, because the media don't cover it, but perhaps on social media you've seen the fantastic resilience of the indigenous American community and the supporters standing and facing down the most brutal of intimidations in order to try and force that pipeline through Dakota. And it looks very much like at this stage the Standing Rock resistors are winning, and I'd like to say today that we stand with Standing Rock and we send our solidarity to those resistors, and we hope that that's making Santa happy today, as well as Tina's victory. And the final thing I'd like to say is this: I think it's about continued campaigning. No matter how gloomy the day, no matter how busy we all are, I think the real important thing that we have to commit ourselves to in 2017 is to continue to build a vibrant, diverse, huge movement that does have the power, the capacity and the intention to take on those people and that system that is blocking our ability to create the kind of transition and the kind of change that we need to save the planet and create a better, more sustainable future for all of us.